Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release, saving one video game at a time. Welcome everyone to October 1982. And we're currently playing all the video games we couldn't find the definite release date for, and we play them in alphabetical order. We were last playing Le Mans on the Commodore Max Machine and Commodore 64, but we're not done with Le Mans yet. Our next release, at some time in October 1982, is Le Mans for the TRS-80 Color Computer, a completely different game than the one by Commodore. Let's check it out. This one only has a few screenshots, so not too much information here. I do have the inside sleeve or information that you would have seen like in the manual per se. So besides a few screenshots, very little information can be found about Le Mans itself. And what we have here, the loading instructions. Oh yeah, and if we have trouble, we can do that. It's on your market set and offer the craziest race track of your life. 3 different race courses, race against an opponent for the best time for one player, beat your own best time. You can avoid potholes, walls, slippery cats. There's slippery cats at Le Mans. I didn't know that. You can also slide around the track. The joystick lever controls the direction and you accelerate. So this is fast action machine language utilizing a black background with excellent sound effects. I don't think we've had any video game describe themselves that way. For obstacles, we have a few different things that can get in our path, and we have to, it shows us how the scoring works here as well as bonuses, skill levels, and then it even shows over here, Spectral Associates is the one that did this, and if we have any problems, we can always just mail it back, and they'll charge us if we have any problems with the cassette or disc. Let's pop in and play Le Mans for the Coco. This is by Rick Lamont, published by Spectral Associates at sometime in October 1982. This is the very first game that Rick Lamont's done, or we've seen here on the show, so we're calling it his very first game. All right, so what's in this disc? To load us up. Oh, machine language. Le Mans. And there's the green glow. We'll have it for a little bit at least. This marks our 24th game we've played by Spectral Associates here on Chronologically Gaming. There, we're in. Version 1. One of those bargain bins, eh, Curtis? Or bargain games. We'll see how well this one plays. All right, so there you go. Spectral Associates, Rick Lamont. Way to go, Rick. We want 1 or 2 players. Let's start with a 1-player game. You get to name yourself. Okay, so Chrono is in. Yes, analog joystick for sure, Curtis. What skill level do we want? 0 to 15? Let's go with skill level 5. And we do have 3 different racetracks. So you can have 0, 1, or 2. Let's start on racetrack 0. And we're in. Cool. Yeah, analog control. Is that the cat? That's the cat. It's a mass of, I think, 4 or 5 pixels. It's awesome. All right, so you hold down the only button you have on your analog joystick. Whoa, wait a second. Wait a second. This control is very different than what we're used to seeing. It is a racing game. It's a top-down racing game, which we don't see very much on home computers. But it's using absolute control, which means I am not controlling this like all the other racing games we played. I'm trying to think of any of the... Yeah, the other ones are all relative. Whenever you get in the car and you're driving, it's usually controlled from the arcade with the steering wheel. But here, when I want to go up, I literally just move the joystick the direction I want to go. It almost feels like I'm playing Pac-Man to move around. So it feels very strange describing this with a driving game. You don't turn left and right based on where your car is. When it's time to go to the right, you move your joystick to the right, not based on where your car is pointing. Wow. But for the most part, the game controls and plays really, really well as I run into the wall. Yeah, now I want to try to go for top speed now that I got the idea. But yeah, having the... the cat runs in the way. Having the absolute control makes this feel like I'm able to drive faster, or like I'm dragging the car around rather than controlling it with a steering wheel. So take that as you will. Some may say it takes you away from driving with, or feeling like you're driving a car around the track. So in one regard, you could say you have more fine-tuned control, but Wow, it's so bizarre. It's different than what we've seen with driving games. This feels like I'm playing an action title or a maze game title. How many laps is this track? I think it just keeps going until you decide you want to stop. Or maybe we set it based on the skill level. Okay, I'll give that a try, Curtis. Level 15. There you go, 20 laps. And it keeps a high score table. So cool. Okay, let's do a new game. Yes. We do in a new game. Oh, we don't pick? I guess if we say no, then it would quit it for us. It's timing. The spin out and the physics, though, even with this at level 5, is really, really nice. It's quick, fast-paced. It feels like a combination of... It's obviously a racing game, but this feels like it's more action. Like we're playing an action game in the arcade. Okay, next time I'm going to say no, I don't want to start a new game because I want to be able to build from the beginning. But, man, just the controls are awesome. Very different from most racing games, but still a lot of fun. This is... Originally, we saw this in the arcades in 19... well, Le Mans been around. We saw in the arcades from 1976. There's another one that was like Grand Track 10. And I mentioned that when we were playing Le Mans on Commodore. So the idea of Le Mans, we've already seen it in video game form. This really isn't from Le Mans, though. I mean, everyone should know what this one is. As far as racing games go, this one marks our 103rd racing game we've played on the show. Across all platforms, all kinds of racing, just if it's a racing game, this is the 103rd video game we played on Chronologically Gaming. This one is the classic top-down, fixed racing game. So we're all only racing on one screen, nothing scrolling, it's all taking place right here, and it's top-down. So it almost feels like you're playing with a race car, or a remote-controlled car. That's kind of what it feels like. There we go, yeah, we'll do no. Curtis, go to the next one. Okay, so here we go. No. Yeah, Paul, I'm giving you the realistic experience. I'm driving like everyone else. Okay, so let's do a one-player game again. And put in name for number 1. And then skill level. Let's go crank it up to number 15. All right, so we saw... Let's do a different race course. Let's do race course 1. And there we go. We're in. The very first time we saw any video game that looked like this... Oh, look, it flips to the other side. Oh, nice touch. This viewpoint was first shown to us with a game called Wipeout on the Magnavox Odyssey. Oh man, the drifting though. Yes, I can feel it. The control feels a little bit more as I turn the corners. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Look at this. and granted, it's still using absolute control. I'm not turning, for example, like right now when I'm facing up, if I turn my joystick to the right, it always would turn to the right, as if you were controlling the steering wheel in the car. But here, look at how the control is. If I go left or right or down or up, that's the way the car is going to point. You do not have to continue to turn left or right based on the way the car is facing. Whoa! Well, Wipeout on Magnavox Odyssey was the very first time we had this view, but the games that really made this popular in the 70s was the indie games, or sprint games that Atari did. Those are where this is taking its nod from. So any game that is a variant of indie, the series of indie games, or the sprint games, we call them variants of that. And majority of the games that are top-down, fixed games like this were based on Head-On by Sega, or Dodge 'em if you're on the Atari. But this is not like that. This one isn't just a maze game, you know, picking up dots like Head-On. This is, you're driving around as if you're a remote-controlled car. This is so cool, by the way. The way this plays, I want to be able to drive around the track a lot more because the control is different. And if you focus on this, you can get really top speed. Look at that. Drive and drift. Yeah, the control is... For a game we don't have a lot of information for, this is really, really fun. Yeah, it feels like we're able to slide around at top speeds, and you really have to focus. It's difficult to do while I'm showcasing at the same time. Look at that. And time it right. So of all those racing games that I mentioned before, this is the 103rd. All those racing games, 19 of them have been head-on style games that are the top-down fixed head-on games. This is not like head-on, though. This one plays more like Indy and Sprint. This marks our 16th game we've played that's like Indy and Sprint that we saw in the 70s. But here's where it gets more interesting. This game is very, very rare because we haven't seen a lot of games on home computers that are like this. Majority of them are on home consoles that play like Indy and Sprint. This marks, of all the games we've played so far on the show, this is only the 5th on home computers that's like Indy and Sprint. Only 5. So this experience is really, really rare to play. 20 laps, though, that feels like a lot. I know, I can't believe if this was rarely advertised, this is a cool idea, and it's rare to see on home computers. So if you wanted to play other games like this, I mean, we'd have to stretch to find other titles. Let's say no. Let's not do a new game. Now, the other thing that marks this as important is I'm going to go for 2 players, and I'm going to be controlling both players at the same time. So watch, I'm going to do a 2-player game. Let's do everyone from the chat. Last person in chat was Curtis. Let's put Curtis as player number 1. And before Curtis was Manly. So Curtis versus Manly. Skill level, let's do 15 again. That was pretty fun. And let's do race course number 2. All right, so watch this. This is 2-player simultaneous racing. It's obviously going to be terrible because I'm playing both people at the same time. I highly recommend you never do that. But you can play with 2 people, multiplayer, at the same time. That's even more rare for home computers. We've already seen this for home consoles, but out of the 5 games we played on home computers, being like, I guess if you wanted to say micro sailing would be close to this, but micro sailing isn't even close to that because it's a sailing game. It's even more rare. But Death Race 82 was a terrible, terrible version of this style of game. But Death Race 82 was only single player. Road Racer was another one that we played. Road Racer was 2-player, but this one plays so much better than Road Racer. That was part of a 2-pack. It had like bowling and Road Racer into one. But this one, multiplayer, competitive. The only time we've seen the games like this have been in the arcade and home consoles. This is like the second video game you could play, racing with your friend like this, around simultaneously. Wow. Well, one of us is doing pretty well. I can't tell who's who, whether one's Curtis or Manly. When you go on skill level 15 and you spin out, it is righteous. So much fun. Yeah, let's see if we can drive them together. Come on, let's go. Yeah, driving 2 at a time is really, really difficult. Yes, yeah, when you crash into one another, can we smash into each other like this? I think we can. No, we can't. So you actually can drive, look at that, you can drive through your friend. You're still competitively racing though against one another, but you can't do you can't do demolition derby here. Man, that's still fun. All right, let's keep driving the right way. Just ignore that second player. Oh, nice, Curtis. So that's the gas cans that keep popping in and out. And we do have oil spills. I believe that's the oil slick. If you look in the top, well, now where the gas can is. Don't want to touch those. You completely stop. Or they might be rocks. So even though it is smaller characters or cars on the screen, this is still a fun game control-wise. And the 2-player multiplayer is really, really fun. So right now, while you'd expect this because we saw so much in the arcade or so much on home consoles, I mean, not that really that much, but I mean, it's top-down fixed-screen racing games. There's only 44 of them out there right now. And of home computers, it's even more rare. This is a real treat. This is still lots of fun. Yeah, you have a blast from this. These are the kind of surprises when we here on the show where I expect games that don't have a lot of information for them means they didn't get a lot of love. But you would have loved this. This would have been so much fun to have and play right now. For a home computer release, there's nothing else like this or as good as this across all home computers. Awesome. Yeah, so the control scheme is slightly different. There you go. We got Curtis on the high score too. Nice. All right, so there you go. That's Le Mans. Completely different than the Le Mans we had just played, and completely different than most of the other games you'd be playing on home computers. Now, I can try to explain the controls. Absolute control is different because you're not using like a steering wheel, and it's smart for these analog joysticks. It works really well. I'm looking over the chat for some ratings. I see some 4 stars. Oh, yeah, nice. Very nice. Yeah, 3.5, slippery. I love it, James. And then 3.5 for Manly. Of all the games we can play right now on home computers, I want to start this at 3.5, but I'm actually going to go a notch above and say because of the 2-player competitiveness and because this is mostly on home consoles, 4 stars for everything you can play on home computers. Le Mans is a surprise. It is excellent. Very, very nice. All right, after that, let's see what is next. We're next going to play on the CreatiVision, the console that's so obscure. And this is Mouse Puzzle. Let's check it out together. Starting with the box. Mouse Puzzle. We've seen plenty of games with mice. I haven't cataloged how many mice games are out there. There's a lot, though. This one is for 1 or 2 players. The front of the box is very, very nice, cartoony. They're not trying to take a riff from Mickey Mouse or anything like that. It doesn't look like a puzzle at all. It looks like an action game. And in fact, most of the time when we think of a mouse, we think of we're running away or being chased by a cat, just like that, from a top-down maze. But there's some pipes involved, I guess. And is that water or are we sweating? But we got our jumpsuit on. We're ready to run away. Paul says 5 stars coming. I love it. You flip it over the back, they have an example of the screenshot, and that's just an amalgamation of tiles. Can't make anything from it. Unless you're in Chronologically Gaming, you know exactly what game that is, and we'll get into it when we boot the game up. Now, CreatiVision is the console that you would have seen in different regions in Europe, but the main place that you see CreatiVision is in other places like New Zealand, Australia, and Asia. So the very first time you would have played this system, it wouldn't have been called CreatiVision. We usually have these as the first time you could play them, and most of them were in the Asia regions. All right, so let's go ahead and go see what we have for Mouse Puzzle. Lots of fun to be had. There's the overlay, because this is another one of those games that you slide the overlay over the controller, and the CreatiVision was unique because it had a full keyboard. It wasn't just a numpad. You could use it to type in. It's almost like the Magnavox Odyssey, you know, the keyboard the Magnavox Odyssey has, or the video pack. This is the whole thing, but in the controllers, not on its own thing. But most of the overlays we've seen, like this one, what's the point of the overlay? It doesn't have any other extra buttons. It's the same ones we've already seen. The action buttons are on the side, and then the start button, and that's it. That's all you need. That's it, Marshall. You ruined the surprise. It's locomotion. All right, so here we go. There's the CreatiVision itself. You can see the controller. It's right here behind my head. It has the full keyboard. That if you put both controllers down, you're typing on the keyboard. And this one takes all cartridges. We're going to pop that into our CreatiVision to play Mouse Puzzle with an example of the screenshot. We have a manual for this one. We didn't have one for the last one. We played Crazy Chewy. How do we play Mouse Puzzle? Tell us how to play, VTech. Good choice. You picked the one game that will give you and your whole family hours of fun and excitement. And to be fair, it's been true for the CreatiVision. The games on this obscure console have been pretty good. Only you can save a mouse. The mouse is going to be moving constantly when we play the game. They walk through pipes, inside walls, but they can't see too well. You have to move the pipes around to help them go in the right direction. You have to watch out for City Kitty, though. Nasty, sneaky, rotten cat. In some games, he will sneak into the pipes and chase your mouse. And yes, you have game variations. In some of those games, they will be chasing you. This one marks our 9th game we've played for the CreatiVision. So not too many games out for it, but a lot of them are really, really good. Here's how they explain how to set up the game. Make sure that console is turned on. Make sure your antenna is connected to your TV. And then make sure you put the cartridge in and then power the unit on. Slide that overlay on, and you're all mouse set and mouse go. How do you save the mouse? You move the joystick to move the sections of the wall around, so the mouse will have somewhere to go. You only have 3 lives, and time is of the essence. So you have a time limit to make sure the mouse gets all the food on the maze. So rather than a top-down maze game where you're trying to collect all the dots like Pac-Man, this one only has a few pieces of food to pick up, and that's it. So it's really not a Pac-Man maze game. Just wait till we boot it up. There's mouse tunnels, and you can choose how to play this game. It is 1 or 2 player, but unlike CreatiVision games, we don't have a lot of multiplayer modes. The 2-player mode is just like the arcade hot seat. You know, you just switch back and forth. So it's alternate play. You don't play at the same time. And then it has different variations for what the mouse and the kitty are going to do whenever you boot it up. So there's our different game variations. We got 8 different ones total. Kind of lacking as far as the number goes for CreatiVision. And then there's the scoring points, but you really need to be ready to play a sliding puzzle. That's the way to go. There is an alternate version of this. We're going to pop in and play the first one of Mouse Puzzle. This is by VTech at sometime in October 1982. Ooh, hear those nice tunes. The CreatiVision, or whatever you name the console, always boots up like the Atari VCS. It's attract mode. It's playing a game in the background. So I'm not playing this. It's just playing something randomly. But you can already see what this is. This is Locomotion that we saw in the arcades in April 1982. So earlier this year, we've seen this in the arcades, and this is the very first time. Well, that was the very first time Konami and Sega had an arcade game. And this is the first time ever you could play this game at home. Now, the one they had in the arcade was like a railroad, making sure a train could pass by. This is essentially the same thing. We call these railroad puzzles because there's the mouse. It's the white sprite that's moving around slowly, just like the train was when we played Locomotion, and you have to continue to slide the puzzle around. What makes this interesting is you have to move the mouse around to collect all the food. We can see there's a banana there. I think I saw an apple. Was that a fish bone? Yeah, they're around the outside, so you have to leave the mouse to collect all the food, then whenever you do, they move to the next level. Where's the timer? They said something about a timer. But let's go into it. Let's do game mode 1. I'm going to go ahead and hit reset, and let's go. We got our 3 lives in the bottom right corner. You can see down there, 3 little mice. But controls are really simple. All you do is move the joystick. So right now, if I want to get that mouse to go to the top food, let's go ahead and have him go that way. He slowly makes his way around, and you can change variations like speed, and you can see there's the cat that's wandering around. Uh-oh, that doesn't look good. Oh, yeah, see, I've already messed it up. You have to think ahead. It's a thinking man's puzzle game. And quick. Gotta be fast. Alright, so let's see. Did we pick... Oh, they didn't count the... You have to collect all the food before you move on to the next one? That's brutal. Alright, so let's think through this one. And let's see, we can be able to get him... Oh, he's gonna go into the cat, though, I bet, right? Quick. Oh, yeah, he was slow. He won't run into the cat, hopefully. He did run into the cat. Well, there you go. Just like when we played it in the arcades, I thought this was a little too complicated, or I should say, more puzzly than most arcade games. Here at home, it makes sense. You'd have the time to think about what you need to do for what paths to take. And you can get rid of the kitty itself. I think you can just completely take it away. Yes. Oh, nice, James. Yeah, so this release that we saw originally in the arcades was a surprise. I was actually expecting more from something from... I don't know how I made it through that one. Alright. Uh-oh, now we dragged the kitty along with us. We're in trouble. And you have to be able to get it to go all the way over to where the food is. Yep, not fast enough. You gotta be really quick, and you have to have the mindset of using one of those, sliding puzzles in your head, in your hand. No, you can't. The mouse is on its own. The mouse is essentially like the railroad when we had the train. All right, so let's go ahead and do a reset. Let's change up the game modes. And we have game mode... Oh, it started on 3. No wonder we had the mouse. Let's do game mode 1. There shouldn't be a cat. Now let's go ahead and reset that one. Okay, here we go. So we're going in again. This one is game mode 1. We were on game mode 4, so that's why we had the cat. And so this one should have no cat. Just get the food, and then don't make any mistakes. So we're already set for a nice path. Whenever you play, it randomizes the slides, just like it did with Locomotion in the arcade. So as far as everything you can play right now on a home console, this game, this style of game, puzzle with sliding puzzle, this is the only way you could play it on anything at home. Not even home computers have done this. We haven't seen anything that have done anything close to this. All right, let's go this way, and then we need to lead them all the way around to the outside. If only I should have brought the other one around. So you do have some time to bring the mouse around to the other ends, and you can see how this would be a fun game to have to think ahead for what to do next. Let's get that one down there. Oh, wait, no, I want to keep you there. And then we need to get you, and you can also slide the mouse just like I did there to the next one. And then let's think ahead to the next side and get... Oh, no. There, I want that one, and then go there. No, I need to get them to the outside. I need to get a straight one over there. No, I moved the wrong one at the wrong time. So control-wise, very, very easy. All it is the joystick, the four-way joystick. The CreatiVision had a digital joystick, very similar to the Emerson Arcadia 2001 joystick. So and it had the number pad too that came with it. Let's see if we can get him to go there. Nice. And then switch this to this, so we can get that food there. Yeah, I'm with you, James. When we played this in the arcade, it didn't go so well either. And now they're having you with objectives to go pick up all the food. And notice that every time that I die, it resets. Everything's gone. You have to, in one swoop, get the... I lost it. So even if I were to pick up everything and then die, that means that... by the way, where's the timer? Oh, I see. They're giving us a bonus score for the timer. Okay. I was looking to see something that would give us because the other thing that makes it difficult is you are timed based on how fast you can do this. So not only do you need to be good at the sliding puzzle, but you need to be quick to be able to collect all the things on the outside. And there's the game over again. In the arcade, I wasn't as big of a fan, maybe because the puzzle element in the arcade didn't go over so well. I gave this 3 stars of all the arcade games you could play. This right here in the at home to play it's just like the arcade, and the only experience you could have with this game. And even with home computers, there's nothing to experience. So, all right, let's go with game mode 5 and see what that's like. It's very, very difficult. They're randomizing everything again. And from what I've seen online, there's no one else that I know of that's finished and played to the next level. Oh, the mouse is going even faster. That's not good. No, yeah, if you go on game mode 5, mouse is even moving quicker. Yeah, if you were into a puzzle game or wanted to play something that's different, then you'd get into it. But you also may be misled, because you look at the back and you think it's a top-down maze game, arcade-like, like Pac-Man, and then be disappointed that it's a sliding puzzle. So mileage will be different. Some people may feel strongly for wanting to play something unique or different. In the arcade, I didn't really going forward with 3 stars of all the games you could play in the arcade. But here on a home console, this is okay. This is, I would say, better than average of all the games you could be playing. Plus, the presentation is really, really nice. This console is like essentially the ColecoVision with the graphics look. No, that wasn't fast. I was going to bring the other one down and then pass to the other side, and that would have done it. But you can pick just a few different game variations, not too many. So there's lots of other home console games that have more variety, more game modes than Mouse Puzzle, but it's still a very fun time and a very unique time for all the games you could be playing right now. For puzzle games, that's already a really rare genre at this point. So I'm looking over in the chat. I see some 3.5s, maybe even 4. Yeah, it depends on if it's your style of game. But the reason why we do a 5-star rating is because we want to just have a generic, is it good? You know, is the game broken? You're around this range of all the games on home consoles. Is the game bad? You're around this range of all the games. Is it average for all the games you could be playing? This is definitely not average for all the games you could be playing on home consoles. I'm going to go 3.5 stars, but for my taste, I wouldn't call this an excellent game across all the games you could play across home consoles, just because of the nature of it. So 3.5, but better than, I would say, than the arcade, and very quaint, musical presentation is great. 3.5 stars for Mouse Puzzle. Awesome. All right. There we go. It's time to put our video game playing on pause. we have so many more games to go for. I feel like doing this half-hour block just isn't enough, and I know everyone wants more and more games, but it allows us to showcase and highlight specific games. Now that we're playing all the games released at some time in October 1982, we play these games in alphabetical order. So you notice we're just going through in alphabetical order, so it's possible these games came out earlier in October when we actually knew the release dates. Only time will tell, and I'm sure people in the comments will correct and tell me what needs to change from there. But be sure to tune in next time on Chronologically Gaming. We are going to be playing a few text adventure games, including a Minotaur game to drive you mad. And believe it or not, if that doesn't drive you mad enough, Tiger Electronics in 1982. That's it for today, and like I always say, you can always improve your high score. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.